Tonight, a family and community mourn an unthinkable tragedy, and more health professionals for the Far West.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. A father accused of being the driver of a hit and run which killed two people at Port Augusta early Saturday morning has today faced Port Augusta Magistrates Court. The man's lawyer telling the court his client had drunk multiple schooners and barely eaten when he got behind the wheel after a disagreement with his wife. Sophia Contagonis has the story.
The 39-year-old man stood calmly in the dock at Port Augusta's Magistrates Court while he heard the list of charges laid against him. As he left, he cried while his family blew him kisses. Revealed as a husband and father to two children, he's accused of a hit and run at Port Augusta early Saturday morning, which killed two people, 50-year-old Dickie Press and 44-year-old Naomi Braden. It's alleged the man had consumed 12 schooners and barely eaten when he got behind the wheel. This long-term couple had been celebrating Valentine's Day at a local function, walking home when it's alleged the unthinkable happened. His lawyer telling the court his client has significant support. The victims do too, their loved ones packed out the courtroom. Shockwaves still being felt around the local community as mourners continue to pay their respects to the pair. The roadside memorial demonstrating the devastation, a picture of the two surrounded by bunches of flowers, a sad reminder of what took place here just 2 days ago. The local mayor still coming to grips with the town's reality.
From what I've seen, what I understand, everybody's rallying behind all the families. I believe there is already a fund being arranged to raise money for the families involved. It's a devastating thing that's occurred. It's a very sad incident.
Saying he'll be offering whatever support is needed.
I think at this point in time the whole community will be in disbelief and shock, and they'll need to work through this. It won't be resolved in a quick manner. So from a council perspective, our condolences and thoughts go to all the families involved.
The accused is expected to face court again this week with the start of a long road for those coming to grips with the unthinkable tragedy. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
3 motorists have tested positive to drug driving in the past week in Whyalla. A 53-year-old Whyalla Stewart man tested positive to methamphetamine on Tuesday. On Friday, a 47-year-old Whyalla Norrie woman tested positive for methamphetamine. A few hours later, a 45-year-old woman tested positive to cannabis. All 3 drivers had their vehicles impounded for 28 days. 2 other motorists were also caught drink driving, one of which was a 64-year-old Gladstone man who blew 0.120. He'll appear in court at a later date. One of Australia's iconic car industries, Holden, has announced it will scrap operations in the country by next year. The company announced in a statement today it will axe its manufacturing process in Australia and New Zealand following a slump in the market. After 160 years, the industry will close its doors on more than 269 dealerships nationwide. Thousands of workers are set to receive separation packages and support in the lead up to the closure. 30 nurse graduates have begun their placements in the Far West today. Some are locals returning home to the region. Others from the city are excited to be working in the outback and to face the challenges the area brings.
A fresh group of 29 nurses and 1 midwife, all excited for the next 12 months in the Far West.
The opportunities you get out here would take years to get in the cities. It's really good, the opportunities that they would get given.
For the first 3 months I'll be in Wilcannia, and then I'm coming back to Broken Hill for the next 3 months and alternating between the two.
Today saw 30 nurse graduates begin their career in the Far West Local Health District, a record number the executive is proud to announce.
We plan our future workforce, where our gaps are going to be, and we allocate positions accordingly.
Among the group, a few Broken Hillites like Morgan Walsh keen to do their placement back home.
It's good actually. It's taken a few years to get here, but the hospital supported me through my ENs and my registered nursing, so it's really good.
Others have come from far and wide to be here. Narelle Gibbard is from Bunbury in WA, just a casual 2,700 kilometres from Broken Hill. It's not her first time in the region though.
I used to work for the Far West Area Health Service back in the late 90s as a dental therapist in Wentworth, Detton and Balranald.
The nurse grads will soon take up their positions across the Far West, including community nursing, emergency and intensive care. The local health district says making sure their new recruits fit right into their communities is a big focus.
The HSMs in the district or the nursing unit managers touch base every week with them. They get allocated a clinical supervisor, so that's someone that they can talk to on a regular basis.
Simone Crevero is looking forward to getting more experience out here than one may get in a capital city.
You go to metro hospitals, they're glad to have students, but they're also really, really busy. So we don't get a lot of experience, whereas nurses here, not that they have more time, but they're willing to go out of their way.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, more calls to fix the Horrocks Highway, and a taxi finds itself in a spot of bother in Port Lincoln. Local MP Jeff Brock is calling on the state government to speed up with designing and implementing plans to upgrade the Horrocks Highway. The $55 million maintenance budget was announced 14 months ago, but the MP says he holds grave fears if repairs aren't put in place soon, saying he's planning to speak with the Transport Minister in Parliament this week.
There's no design at this stage here. There's no tenders been put for it. But certainly it is in the wind, but I will keep pushing to get that road done.
It's not scheduled to start until towards the end of this year and probably won't be completed until 2022, which is understandable given the scope of works that's proposed.
Motorists have voted the Mid-North's Horrocks Highway and Owen Road as some of the worst in the state, according to the RAA. A taxi van was in need of a lift in Port Lincoln on Saturday after it rolled into the town's marina. It's understood just after midday, the driver of the van left the vehicle in the car park to put some rubbish in a nearby bin. From afar, he watched on helplessly as his vehicle mounted the curb and rolled into the water.
Nothing I could do with it. The doors were closed and I could never jump in there quick enough to stop it.
A crane along with specialist divers were called in to help winch the underwater taxi out. Thankfully, no one was inside the vehicle at the time. Not-for-profit organisations are being encouraged to apply for the next round of South Australia's Digital Donations Grant. Port Perry's library staff supporting the program and urging residents to utilise their public computers too.
Many find the internet hard to live without, dependent on what the online world offers.
Whether you want to stay connected to friends by checking your social media or checking emails or even accessing government services, you do need access to computing.
Ex-Education Department computers in good condition will soon be rehomed around the region, given to non-for-profit organisations.
Very important for community groups who are finding it hard to actually have the best IT stuff available for what they need, but it's also the cost factor. But these here are free.
This local MP says many community groups will be eligible, including sporting clubs.
Encourage non-profit organisations and sporting groups in particular to actually apply for this and to see if they can get a laptop or a computer.
Port Perry library staff and users also supporting the program, saying it's important everyone has internet access.
Not everybody can afford it, so the library is a great place to come to for this kind of thing. So,
if they want to travel, they have to apply for a passport online. A lot of the time they have to pay for bills online, and if they don't have access to a computer at home, it's important for them to be able to have access to one somewhere.
Staff say the library's fast approaching 60th anniversary signifies just how much has changed since computers were introduced.
60 years ago, there was no computing, but computers are just an extension of information, so the library has moved with the times. We still have the books.
More information on the digital donation grants can be found on Jeff Brock's Facebook page. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Dozens of animals put their best paw forward on Adoption Day, and hundreds of little athletes give it their all for the annual Athletic Country Championship. Welcome back. Hundreds of animals in need have found their forever home as part of the annual National Pet Adoption Day. It's the 5th year Port Lincoln's Petstock and RSPCA have banded together to encourage pet rescue, but volunteers say they're still in desperate need of more pet owners.
Rescued from the streets, now trying to find their new home. Dozens of cats and kittens, some only 2 months old, all up for adoption.
You're giving them a second life, really, and when pets have been given a second life, they tend to love you double time.
Petstock teamed up with the RSPCA over the weekend as part of the National Pet Adoption Day. It's the 5th year the event's been held.
Through all the Petstock stores nationally, we are trying to adopt out as many animals as possible. The theme this year is Adopt Different.
The initiative encouraged residents to adopt, not shop, with many animal shelters overflowing with rescues. Volunteers at Port Lincoln's RSPCA say they're bursting at the seams with cats and kittens after a busy spring baby boom.
We've got quite a few kittens at the minute. There's the kitten season that's happened just recently, so there's lots and lots of kittens that we have.
145 Petstock stores across the nation opened their doors over the weekend to encourage pet adoption. The franchise setting a mammoth goal of rehoming more than 1,000 rescued animals.
Every year we aim for bigger and better numbers. So last year we did over 1,000 animals and we want to do the same again this year.
Over the past 5 years, 3,000 animals have been adopted as part of the event. Port Lincoln managed to find homes for 2 rescued kittens over the weekend.
Little Pirate Pete and Alice. They've gone with their forever families now, so it's very sweet.
All animals adopted at the RSPCA come vaccinated, desexed and microchipped. But if a pet isn't for you, staff are always on the lookout for new foster carers.
People can come and volunteer their time looking after the kittens, cleaning them, feeding them, cuddling them. We have the odd dog that comes in that might need to be walked, that sort of stuff.
For the rest of February, Petstock will be donating all donations to the RSPCA. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Organisers of the Broken Hill Heritage Festival are encouraging businesses and community groups to join in the event. The Heritage Festival will be held in April with the theme of secrets and scandals. City Council will be hosting a number of planned activities and events, but is calling on locals to add more. Anything from a photo display to street talk, organisers want to see what they can come up with. Those with an idea are encouraged to contact City Council. Dozens of athletes from across the Eyre Peninsula have given it their all in Port Lincoln for the annual Little Athletics Country Championships. There were a few tears, but no one gave up as they all competed to beat their personal bests.
On your marks, get set. Dozens of little athletes hitting the ground running as they compete in this year's regional games.
Most people have done PBs this week, especially yesterday there was a lot of PBs. 4
clubs from across the Eyre Peninsula travelled down to Port Lincoln over the weekend for the annual Little Athletics Country Championship. Some families travelled more than 400 kilometres for the 2-day event.
Pretty fun, and I hope we have good luck to everyone.
Athletes were fired up, ready and roaring to go. The weekend competition a result of more than a year's worth of training.
Every Sunday we come out here and we practice every event, and then once a year we get to do this for 2 days.
From running to jumping to throwing, these athletes were in red-hot form. Many achieved their personal bests.
We've got lots of PBs and things, but we've mostly come out here to try and have fun, not just to win.
I got 2 personal bests in, I think, discus and a 70 metre, so that's good.
The annual event brings together athletes of all ages, letting them race against new competitors and face old rivals.
It's just nice to compete against other people than just your team.
And make new friends. Really good to see other people and have fun with them.
The event also a chance for the older athletes to help train up the junior competitors.
You can learn how the older people do their stuff, and then you can look up to them when you do their events as well.
There might have been a few tears, but no one gave up.
They don't seem to stop when they cash down in tears. Everyone's sort of supportive of everyone, which is good.
As for who would win, it was anyone's guess. But Port Lincoln managed to pull ahead and seal the victory for the 2nd year in a row. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
How very cute. For more sports news, Patrick Reinke will have this week's cricket wrap after the break, and we'll have the weather with Brit. Hello again. The Central Broken Hill Cricket Club held on to win a tight, low-scoring game against South at the weekend. Here's Patrick Reinke with a wrap-up of the region's recent round of cricket.
After bowling out the Southerners for a measly total of 78 runs, the Central Magpies looked to be in the driver's seat. The Black and White had no problem ripping through the Roos batting order. Needing only 79 for victory, the job became hard, as South's bowling attack started to put Central under the pump. With runs drying up, South found themselves in with a chance to steal victory. When Kumar was caught by Leo and Singh run out by Franklin, Central was in real trouble. Sheldon Hall then picked up Magpie captain David O'Malley, and the game was in the balance. South had a run-out opportunity to snag another wicket, but it was wasted. A quick single saw the Magpies record a great escape. In the other game, North had it very easy over West. The Westies did get a win at the weekend though, taking out the first ever Women's Cricket Grand Final. After subtracting wickets, North made a total of 31 runs. West's strong batting order played well and chased down the total in style.
Our team as a whole will definitely be back next year, hopefully bigger and better, and we might be able to take it out next year.
Just wonderful I just love that we have women's outdoor cricket in Broken Hill at the moment, which I love it, so it's great.
Whipping around to the other associations now, and we start in Port Lincoln. Ladder leader Tasman outclassed Charlton. Southern Air also got the job done over Lincoln South, and Waybacks recorded one of the biggest run chases of the year, surmounting Todd Rivers' 233 in an epic game. To the northern areas, 72 from Andrew Milne saw Wilmington Melrose victorious, Burra good against Orroroo. Balali Mananeri dispatched Boolaroo Wallawi, Charles Yasith having a day out with the Cherry, taking 6 wickets. Sporting Boobarawi also got a win. In Whyalla, North smashed South, Sam Dorr in blistering form with the ball, taking 5 wickets for 3 runs off his 4 overs. In the other game, Central blitzed Rupina. And in Port Pirie, Southport couldn't do enough against Solly North, and Port Germain got a win as well. We'll be back tomorrow night with a wrap-up of all the other sports from around the regions.
Now for a look at your week's weather, here's Brit Aylen.
Thanks Louise and good evening. 37 was the high today recorded at Port Augusta, Broken Hill 35, Port Pirie 34, Whyalla 31, Port Lincoln 28. We saw mostly clear conditions through the first half of today, mostly thanks to a ridge of high pressure. A little later, high cloud moved through ahead of a trough, but not bringing any rain. Moving on to tomorrow, we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds tending to the southwest at 20 to 25 knots, with seas between 1 and 1.5 metres. Sunrise getting later, 10 to 7 tomorrow, with sunset just before 10 past 8. Partly cloudy conditions expected across the region, with strong and gusty winds about the Flinders, Eyre Peninsula and York Peninsula regions. Broken Hill looking at a top of 32 degrees. Cooler elsewhere, Woodner and Port Pirie with tops of 27, Port Augusta and Corn 26, Kadina 25, Whyalla and Clare also 25, Coffin Bay 23, Port Lincoln and Cleve both 22 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, cloudy conditions on the forecast at Port Lincoln with maximums of 22 Wednesday and Thursday. Cleve mostly fine, 21 the top on Wednesday, 23 Thursday and Friday. Woodner with partly cloudy days ahead, maximums in the late 20s. Looking fine and partly cloudy at Whyalla, Port Augusta and Kadina, with maximum temperatures sitting in the mid to late 20s over the coming days. Port Pirie fine and partly cloudy Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, with maximums in the late 20s. Similar conditions at Clare, looking at a top of 23 on Wednesday, Thursday 25. Broken Hill bright and sunny on Wednesday, a high of 26. Thursday sunny and 28, partly cloudy on Friday. And Louise, before I go, there is a severe marine wind warning in place for the Spencer Gulf tomorrow, so take care on or near the water. Back to you.
Lovely, thank you for that, Brit. And that's your local news this Monday evening. Thank you for joining us today. We'll have updates later as always. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.